All right, welcome to Speak for Yourself. I'm Jason Whitlock. That's Marcellus Wiley, that dude.
Yes, sir.
Coming up, we'll tell you who's to blame for Antonio Brown's looming departure from Pittsburgh.
And if LeBron and the Lakers would actually be better off missing the playoffs this year. But we start every day with a Whitlock, so I know what you got today. What's up, big dog?
All right, Marcellus, there was a major Colin Kaepernick news while we were away. His lawyer announced that Kaepernick would like to return to the NFL, saying, quote, absolutely wants to play. He wants to compete at the highest level. This is a competitive young man. Kaepernick's desire to resume his playing career is more enlightening and inspiring than news that he and the league reached a settlement over his collusion grievance. His ambition to play again tells us something about his alleged financial settlement. It wasn't nearly as large as the $60 to $80 million figure speculated by a Bleacher Report Twitter troll. Conventional wisdom says the NFL settled with Cap because the league feared embarrassing and damning information would leak during depositions. Conventional wisdom ignores the possibility that Cap settled because his lawyers knew embarrassing and damning information would leak about their client. Let me give you an example. It's my belief the football establishment told the Associated Press that Kaepernick wanted $20 million to play in the startup Alliance of American Football. Everybody connected to the AAF, from Bill Polian on down, owes their livelihood and reputation to the NFL. How did Cap's AAF salary demand land with the public? Not good for Kaepernick. The news made him sound delusional and irrational. I think people would be shocked to learn the main reason Kaepernick didn't play in the NFL the last 2 years is because his salary demands were nonsensical. Teams chose Nathan Peterman over Kaepernick because the sticker price. Same reason people buy more Honda Accords than Cadillacs. Social media is the enemy of common sense. But over time, the truth wins out. Cap was not going to win a public relations war with the NFL. A team of woke bloggers at Bleacher Report, The Ringer, The Athletic, Deadspin, and a bunch of retired players pandering for retweets and likes on Twitter are no match for the Associated Press. In my opinion, Cap settled primarily because he's been led to believe some team in the NFL is going to give him a starter's job and a starter's salary this year and the opportunity to earn an inflated contract next year. He's getting the same deal as his comrade, Eric Reed, the Carolina safety who parlayed an average 2018 season into a top 10 safety contract this offseason. It's not a coincidence that 6 days before Kaepernick settled, Reed scored a 3-year, $22 million contract from the Panthers. That was the NFL's good faith gesture to the national anthem kneelers. 3 days later, the football establishment shoved Kaepernick towards settling by leaking the AAF news to the Associated Press. Why did the NFL want to settle? I think the informed people within the NFL feel sorry for Kaepernick. He's been used by political activists and others. I also think the league recognizes Cap now has television rating values. The NFL is just a TV show. Initially, it didn't know how to handle the kneeling controversy. Now it just lets the half dozen or so attention whores throw their pregame tantrums without making it a big deal. It makes sense now to write Cap back into the NFL script. Pay his lawyers' fees, give him $15 to $20 million in back wages, and put him on the team. I'm going to be rooting for Cap. Cap is a far better and more interesting quarterback than social justice warrior. All right, joining the desk now is former Pro Bowl wide receiver T.J. Houshmandzadeh. Marcellus, I'll start with you. Obvious question, who won the settlement, Cap or the league?
I'm going to answer that through story. I'm going to answer that through imagery, and then let's just see where this takes us. Here's this case, a heavyweight fight between Cap and the NFL. Ding, 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 right? Tell of the tape, you got Kaepernick, Super Bowl champion appearing quarterback, 2 times the NFC championship game, a great player, great talent at one time. At the same time, this is a guy who started to rank at the bottom in terms of some of the statistical categories in his last 2 years. Then you got the NFL, king of all sports, king of all entertainment products on television, but has had their issues in terms of player rights, player issues, et cetera, et cetera. They go out there to fight, and I'm sitting there at home. I gave them my $100. Mayweather, Pacquiao, whatever, 100 plus for this one. I want to see this one. And they go out there and they start duking it out. And then you can see the corner man, Eric Reed, sitting there with Kaepernick. Oh, we got this. And then getting mad, yelling at the crowd. Hey, Malcolm Jenkins, you sell out, and you ain't with this. You ain't part of this fight. Oh, okay. Then you see NFL. Oh, they lose. Oh, they got an uppercut. What happened to the NFL? They lost a hearing. Oh, this may go. And then what happens at the end? Boop. Emergency broadcasting system. We're sorry. We will not show any more footage from this fight. As a matter of fact, we will not discuss this fight any further. And then now, they just went to the nightly news. And I'm sitting there like, who won the fight? Have y'all ever been in a settlement? Have you ever been in a courtroom and been a part of a settlement, signed an NDA? I have. I can't say any more about it, but I've signed NDAs before, low value amounts, and some big ones too. I will say this, who won this one? It took me to the place where I was a little discouraged. I certainly felt the sting that a lot of former players and just people who were supporting Kaepernick, the activist, the player, the man, felt, which is, this is a little unsettling in your settlement. You can't discuss it. We don't know what went down. We don't know the details. We don't know what you agreed to. But I did see two things that made me say, maybe the NFL won this one. We all know Big Bank. They'll throw money all the time. And Big Bank doesn't have to be a corporation. I've been in settlements before where I was Big Bank. And all the person wanted was some money. And to me, that money wasn't that much. It sounds like a lot to a lot of people, but it wasn't that much to me. Get rid of this. This is bad. I don't want to hear about it anymore. It's taking my time up to make more money. Big Bank gives you money to make things go away. And Little Bank takes the money in the fact that they want their rights, they want their opportunities, but at most, they just took that money and said, we won't speak on this anymore. You pay for your wrongs. Kaepernick put out a picture with his legal team. Somehow, some way it got out. Bad boys move in silence. So when I saw that picture, it made me a little curious, like, why would you put out in the NDA something that made it seem like the court of public opinion would say, look at those winners right there. A legal team with Kaepernick right there all smiling right after a court hearing. That was interesting. Then I looked at it and I saw also that was for the court of public opinion, but it wasn't about us. This case wasn't about us. It was about Kaepernick. But why are you putting something out for our taste, for our interpretation? That was interesting. Then I saw something else that came out and I was like, The Nike deal goes to 2028. They're partners with the NFL. And if they're partners with the NFL, you always choose partners over endorsers. And you put it together, but I think that this is something that says Nike's like, he's not as polarizing as you think. There's tremendous value in Kaepernick. People are shutting down stores because they try to protest Kaepernick at Nike, and now they can't keep their stores open because this dude is great for the bottom line. And I just know that partnership with the NFL had to bleed into this situation. So to answer you through my story, through all the things that I've been trying to piece together, which is still not going to be a definitive answer, if you had to ask me and I had to answer, I would say the NFL won this one because it goes away. Dirty laundry is still dirty, but you just don't know how to get it exposed. And Kaepernick gets what he wants most, which is an opportunity to play. But the NFL won this case.
For me, it remains to be seen. But if I'm forced to pick and say who won this, it would be Colin Kaepernick, number one. The NFL, they don't settle with anybody.
Oh, yes, they do.
They fight tooth and nail to the end. Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback in the league. Even if he purposely deflated the ball, that's not that big of a deal. It really isn't that big. When you settle like this, they don't want something to come out that they know could possibly come out. That's number one. And then we're like, they realized he had value. You realize he had value from when he first started protesting by the support he had amongst the players, and then entertainers and everybody was supporting him big time. Oh, we stand with Cap, we kneel with. You knew he had a lot of support then. And you guys I don't know if he's going to get an opportunity. They could have made this go away years. As soon as it happened, 2017, and said somebody signed Kaepernick and released him a few weeks later. It's no collusion. We signed him, we gave him an opportunity. He just wasn't good enough.
He wouldn't sign, and I believe this wholeheartedly. I believe it to my core. He didn't sign because he never got offered his price. Trust me.
But this is the thing,
wanted him to play.
Would he have wanted a signing bonus right up front, or they could have given him, an incentive-laden contract, which if he gets an opportunity.
Taking it. He wasn't, again, when he
wanted guaranteed money.
When he was coming off his he's like most delusional fans that think 16 TDs and 4 interceptions. My God, someone should be offering me $25 million to sign and an average of $18, $19 million a year. And the NFL was like, no, man, we know what that 16 TDs and 4 interceptions really was. It was a mirage. It didn't lead to victories. It wasn't really true production. And so to me, Cap has always been about how much are you going to pay me to play? No one would meet that. But for the NFL, what they've always concluded, and this is why I believe the NFL has won, they didn't know how to handle the national anthem controversy initially. They completely mishandled it. David Stern's done come out and said, look, man, all you had to do was suspend him and then bring him back and it would have been over. But that's not, the NFL let him do it for an entire season. Then they got in this dispute with the president and their traditional football fans, and it hurt ratings initially. Now I believe they're going to bring Cap back into the league because it's going to help ratings.
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick will be the #1 draw damn near in the NFL next season for the first. It may last all season.
If he's not a starting quarterback, it's not going to matter. He's going to have to be on the field.
Yeah.
Well, look.
So there's only a few spots he can land in. He has to be on the field.
But, I mean, you got to tackle them as they come. And the first thing is to get them onto a roster. So that's another victory for Colin Kaepernick, which hopefully the NFL is thinking will be a victory for them. But let's just it's all over the place. The NFL does settle. NFL has lost cases, as a matter of fact. If you go back to why we were free agents in the first place, you got to go back to Reggie White. You go back to Hardy Nickerson. Tom Brady was even offered a settlement. The devil's in the details. Tom Brady thought he was going to win that case. He said, I don't want your settlement. I'm going all the way. And then that accountant called Tom Brady and said, bruh, you know who you're dealing with, and you just exhaust yourself, not in necessarily financially, but you get tired.
They can stall you out.
Oh, man, you get tired of the lawyer fees. You're paying $500,000 every other month.
See, but with Tom Brady, it should have been a union. It should have been free.
Right, but I'm just saying, Tom Brady was offered a settlement. NFL does this at times. Here's the thing about it. Colin Kaepernick won in his eyes. He won something from the NFL because it's a settlement. You compromise on your side, they compromise on their side. He made them compromise. I don't know if that's a win, but he made Big Bank compromise. You know why? Because he caught Big Bank with their pants down. The NBA, Major League Baseball, all have a policy in place. You cannot sit or kneel for the anthem. Did the NFL have one in place? No. So Colin Kaepernick knew he had something on them. And then through that expose of deposition, you're going to be able to get more than you even wanted in that. So, yeah, he had something there. But here's what Colin Kaepernick gave up, and this is where I felt the sting. You have shirts out there, I'm with Cap. On the small of the shirt, it says, know your rights. When you settle and when you sign an NDA, you give up your first right, which is the freedom of speech. You can no longer speak on that.
But we knew when he filed this suit.
And to me, that's interesting.
I see on social, when he filed this suit, it was about money from the get-go.
Oh, I get it.
Everybody knew that, so people, he sold it. Why did he sell out? You filed this suit because it's about money, because they're withholding wages. Anybody in their right, for Colin Kaepernick to do what he did, he gave up his livelihood for something he believed in, for the betterment of his people. And for me, you know this.
There's some disagreement there.
There's very few people that would have done that.
There's
very few that would have done what he did.
TJ, there's some disagreement. You can have that opinion, and the people that have that opinion, that he did it for the betterment of his people. There is disagreement. There are people like me that believe he threw a tantrum because he lost his starting job and things weren't going well in San Francisco. Colin Kaepernick, like a lot of people.
So he threw a silent tantrum because he didn't say much. He nailed it.
He didn't say much because there's no substance backing him. Again, this is why I keep trying to explain to people about the difference between him and Muhammad Ali. When you're backed by Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, and the Nation of Islam, there's some substance underneath you, and that's why you could never silence Muhammad Ali. Kaepernick is standing on Twitter, and again, that's not much substance, and so that's why he's been quiet. He can't every time he's tried to explain his position, he'll throw on a Fidel Castro T-shirt. He'll throw on some pig socks. He always dirties up his message because, again, his message isn't based in much other than he was mad. He went to a very dark place, and a bunch of things have spun out of control. And people will be upset with me for saying it or won't understand it, but I actually think Roger Goodell, let's take Goodell, just the NFL family in general, there is some sympathy for Colin Kaepernick. I think people that actually know Colin Kaepernick have great sympathy for him. He got involved in something way bigger than he ever intended, and it forced him to make some decisions that he regrets. He can't even say it, and that's why this NDA actually works for him as well.
Yeah.
Everybody keeps looking at the NFL's protecting itself. Now, I don't think the NFL has much to protect itself from.
I mean, if
I
he
don't
got
think they colluded.
a couple years salary and he does get an opportunity to play, it's a win-win for both. It's a win for the NFL. It's a win for Colin Kaepernick if he gets this opportunity. And I think he was supposed to make $16 million in 2016 and 2017. If he gets around $40 million, it's a win-win for both.
Okay, here's the thing. I've been on record. Ron Jaworski went there, and I co-signed it. Maybe this is 3-4 years ago. That Colin Kaepernick was the most talented quarterback in the NFL. It's on YouTube. Go check it out. People killed me for saying that.
I remember that.
I was like, oh, okay. I'm going to tell you how much I love Kaepernick. I knew Kaepernick the person. I had people in the 49ers organization that work with him daily. I even got someone hired in the organization, and they told me a lot of intel, and I'm going to just air it out. So after I say that, I'm bunkered in. I'm like, damn, y'all don't like Cap as much as I do? Kaepernick in his last 2 years, these were his numbers. In terms of 35 capable, eligible quarterbacks. He was 34th in win percentage, 32nd in completion percentage, and 31st in QB.
But we all
all
know if you don't have players around.
I get it.
You gotta have a team.
I am
around
not,
you.
dog. I can't be dissing Cap because I was the one who loved him the most. And then in those 2 years, he knows this more than anybody. And then in those 2 years, remember he got benched for throwing 4 yards in 3 quarters?
I remember that.
Okay. He goes into that offseason. You know what happened? 3-4 surgeries, loses a ton of weight. And then this is his last year. He gets benched because he's not ready for all the offseason stuff, whatever. And then he opts out of a contract in part because they said, we're going to cut you regardless.
Yes.
So now you're in a position, you know this. This is the leverage game now. Wherever you go, you ain't going to get as much, right? Let's be real.
If you opted out, more than likely.
Right.
Yes.
So, but then he went on the open market and was expecting starting quarterback money. So that's where I think the first misplay was. Now, the intel told me during the moments when he was protesting at first and nobody knew, it wasn't a protest for the cause. Initially, it was, that's how y'all gonna play y'all franchise quarterback? I'm sitting on the bench during pregame. And then that turned into a couple of weeks. Finally, someone said, what are you doing on the bench during the pregame national anthem? Then that mapped on to a cause which we're all sympathetic about. I'm from it, you're from it, he's for it. Respect. And so I just was waiting peacefully on the sidelines, hoping that this will all materialize and make sense when you're trying to live a dual existence in terms of what you want as a player, but what you want as an activist. Now, Jim Brown, take shots at Jim Brown all you want, but he's an athlete activist who warned us. You can't do both, bruh. I'm telling you, it's going to come to a place where you're going to have to sell it. You're going to have to get paid for it. And then where's the cause in that? Colin Kaepernick easily could donate his time, energy to the cause with this settlement and everything else. I'm not dissing Kaepernick like that. But I am going to say, like Teddy Bruschi and many others are going out there publicly saying, if you really had him, why didn't you get him? And that's the only question I have is, if you had him, why didn't you get him? Or you didn't have him,
because
and that's
it was about money. And he probably got the amount of money he was looking for thrown at him. I'm done.
I get it.
That's your opinion.
I get it.
I disagree with it. I'll add this, Marcellus, and it's all out there in writing, in Twitter, in columns. When Kaepernick was rolling, it was me, you, and Jaworski. This morning went back and looked at what I wrote and read in 2012 and 2013. Loved Kaepernick. He fell off a cliff because of injuries, circumstance.
And it goes
Jim
coaching. That's the thing. It goes
coaching.
Coaching matters, and the
lost
team
it.
around
There's
him
no
left.
question.
Oh, yeah, I'm all in.
But trust me, where Marcellus just went in terms of where this really started and what this really was about, I've stood on that from day one, and I've never wavered from it. Because again, I know people that were on that staff and know Colin Kaepernick. And again, he's never been about what he's been forced to try to be about. And he finally, I hope, is like, let me go back to what I'm really good at.
So if that's the
being
case,
a great
Jason,
athlete.
once all this shakes out, he's gonna be a fraud because you got to continue to do this.
Well,
you got to continue. You have to. If you don't, it's like, where does he go from here?
It doesn't take
Like-
much to satisfy the public, though.
Yeah.
All he has to do is give out some charitable donations. How many times have you heard people, oh, well, he gave this amount of money, he gave that amount of money. Clearly, he's down for the cause. Hey, man, if you have a lot of money, it's not stupid to give money to charity. It's a good tax write-off. He's not the only one. A lot of people do it very privately and quietly. I have more respect for that than the people that do it publicly for, hey, look at me, look what I'm doing.
Yeah, and just for my last point, I was rallying for Colin Kaepernick in the respect that he needed the fuel from those who are from it, those who are disenfranchised, those who are voiceless, powerless, and that's my origin, so I was like, hell yeah. And I'm not gonna get into the fraud angle of it, but I will point out issues. And Colin Kaepernick pointed out a lot of issues in our country. And I'm pointing out some issues with Colin Kaepernick in terms of him being the leader of this cause. Why is he the leader of this cause? He's not for me. No one is for me. I donate my time, my energy, my talents, and I'm not a leader. I just do it, and I hope I can hopefully get other people inspired to do theirs. But when you start calling out other leaders, Malcolm Jenkins was when I said, when you start calling out other people who, when you're one position on the field and somebody else is the other position, but you mad at them for doing their job to try and do it, so then you told me Malcolm Jenkins was a sellout because he took the money in the cause. But then you took the money.
Kaepernick didn't say that. That was Eric Reid.
Cornerman said it. The cornerman said, you know why? Because the one in the ring ain't saying nothing now.
All right.
You want to go back to that broadcast?
February isn't just about one supersized football game. On Spotify, there's thousands of free sports podcasts that agonize over the preseasons, off-season, and plain old regular seasons of nearly every sport imaginable. Basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, curling, and even hurling. Yes, that's a real sport. Now it's so easy to stay updated with the latest rumors, predictions, and scorching hot takes from some of your favorite game's biggest names. So take it one episode at a time and give 110% of your attention to the thousands of free sports podcasts on Spotify, because the best offense is a good podcast. Time for a big story, sponsored by Volvo and the all-new S60. Follow no one. All right, let's move to Pittsburgh, where the drama keeps swirling around the Steelers this season. Pittsburgh not only missed the playoffs with one of the league's best rosters, but also managed to turn two of the league's best players, Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, against them. Over the weekend, Brown sparked even more drama by calling out Big Ben. But today he posted a picture on Instagram with Steelers owner Art Rooney writing, quote, "Had a great meeting with Mr. Rooney today. We discussed a lot of things and we cleared the air on several issues. We both agreed that it's time to move on, but I always have appreciation and gratitude towards the Rooney family and the Steelers organization." Question here is, who's more to blame for the Steelers drama, management or their star players?
Oh, yeah, I thought you were about to say something.
I am.
As Scarface said, money and the power. So a lot of people make the lazy leap that money just gives you power. It's all relative based on who else has money around you. So in this experience, I have to say the power's to blame, because upstairs they have more money than you do in that locker room. I don't give a damn who you are. Somebody's writing that check and writing 52 other ones and still going to make money on top of that. So I blame the power. Why? Because the power is given to those players through their money and their opportunity, but it's also being looked at from above. And if they're allowing this to occur, and you said stars, because it's not just Antonio Brown, it's Ben Roethlisberger as well. As Antonio Brown said, look, he has the owner's mentality, you know. And what does that mean? I don't think that was a racial indictment. I think that means this is a guy who talks to us like he's above us, above the law, and has a two-way communication with upstairs. So everything points to upstairs. They're the ones that's empowering you. They're the ones that's giving you the monetary leverage. And they're the ones who is allowing it to happen on their watch. So in a situation like this, I understand that Antonio and Ben are spatting it out. But someone of leadership from upstairs who gave them that same opportunity and power should have stopped this. I blame them upstairs.
So for me, we don't know the inner workings of the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. But the management upstairs, up the top, it's 0%. This starts with Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger. The management is not going to say, suspend this guy, sit this guy. That comes from the head coach. Again, if they're handcuffing Mike Tomlin and he's not allowed to do that, that's a different story. But my understanding from the majority of organizations, the head coach, if he wants to sit a guy, if he wants to suspend a guy, it's up to him. So if I'm going to give out percentages, I'm going to say it's 50% Mike Tomlin, 30% Ben Roethlisberger, and 20% Antonio Brown. Because Mike Tomlin, this just didn't happen. This has been going on for a while. AB is just fed up. I wish he would just be a little quiet on social media, let his agent do all the talking, let his agent get all the blood on his hands because you alienate the fans, and that's not a good thing. But right now, he's to the point of no return. But the majority of the blame has to go to Mike Tomlin because, number one, he's the head coach. He could have stopped this immediately. But again, you let your players talk about Le'Veon Bell and do what they did. You let Ben Roethlisberger take certain shots. It starts with Mike Tomlin.
TJ, I agree with Marcellus. I think it's management. I think it's management for this reason. I think the Steelers have a unique structure and have for 50 years where management is more in control than the head coach. This organization really does work top down. There is no Belichick. No one's allowed to be Belichick in the Steelers organization. Bill Cowher didn't have that kind of power. Mike Tomlin doesn't have that kind of power. And so in this league now, and I think the Steelers structure worked well in the old NFL. But in this new NFL, where you're giving out these enormous signing bonuses and guaranteeing all this money to guys like Antonio Brown, and it's not, you guys have experienced it where I haven't. You go from college and being broke all your life to 22 years old and rich, and particularly in your mind, you even if it's for $750,000 a year, that feels like F money to, like, ain't nobody tell me nothing. And when you give Antonio Brown $70 million guaranteed or whatever it is, it's very hard for that head coach to control him if he doesn't have a lot of autonomy and authority within the organization. And the Steelers don't give that, and that's why they have the hottest. So
they're the only ones.
In the NFL.
Then management, Mike Tomlin, everybody in that building, they know who's at fault. Then, because when you, prime example, you brought up Belichick.
Yeah.
The Patriots fall in line because Tom Brady falls in line. And so they know Belichick has that type of power. If Tomlin doesn't have that type of power, it's pretty much nothing he can do.
Well, the Steelers have always leveraged job security for the coach, for the partnership in which we get to work with you, work through you as the head coach. Like, y'all forget Joey Porter. Like, have we forgot that even on Bill Cowher, the great coach? Boy, you played the Steelers, you know you was dealing with some issues, and I'm just only pointing out Joey because now they use him as a scapegoat and say, get off the staff and let's see how things get fixed. This has been going on for a long time, no matter who the coach. So it's a different dynamic there. That's why I blame upstairs, because now they're in a different world, different generation, and they haven't adapted to the new world.
Joined now by NBA champion Dante Jones, longtime NBA player Cuttino Mobley. Let's move to the NBA. Sponsored by Toyota. Let's go places. LeBron and his team may have won this weekend's All-Star game, but here in Los Angeles, LeBron's other team isn't faring so well. With the Lakers currently out of the playoffs, reportedly people within the organization are worried that LeBron's groin injury isn't fully healed and wonder if he'll be able to turn things around after the break and get LA into the playoffs. All right, the question here is, guys, would the Lakers be actually better off missing the playoffs?
You got it, man.
Better off missing the playoffs. It's a yes and no, right? Let me tell you why. Yes, that LeBron can rest, right, for the summer because he usually never rests in the summertime. No, because I would like for the younger guys to gain a little bit of experience, even if they Say they go in for the
For
first
the
round.
teams they play for next year. Make that experience for the teams.
For New Orleans.
Listen, whoever it is,
Oh.
I'd rather a little bit of experience in the playoffs even for that first round, even if you get swept.
Kuzma,
Okay.
help New Orleans, yeah.
Yes, from the organizational standpoint.
Better off missing the playoffs.
Yes, as you said, for rest for LeBron James to come back next year and to be fully healthy and have his first rest in years, a full offseason of rest.
Right.
No, because of the free agent pursuit. I think you need some steam going into your free agent pursuit because you're trying to get a second guy to play with LeBron James and to help you get to back a championship caliber team. And if they don't make the playoffs, it's going to look like it's a bad situation going in LA right now. Yeah, they may get a better draft pick, but it won't be worth the perception of what's going on in the Laker organization if they don't make the playoffs. But my man right here is hoping that they don't because he's a livid Clipper fan and it's going to help his pursuit of getting people.
LeBron into a bear. He needs some hibernation.
He needs
time.
a hibernation situation out here.
Name somebody else.
When's the
that's
last
been
time? When's the last time that he rested in the
Hibernated.
summer?
Hibernate.
No.
last time?
No, everybody else
2004,
gets
2005.
rest. Everybody else gets
Oh,
rest.
we know that. That's
8
a
straight
reality.
finals.
No, he doesn't get any rest. He's playing Olympics.
Yeah, he playing Olympics. He goes all the
He
way
gets
through.
maybe like
Not
2
Olympics.
weeks
How
of
many
rest.
years has that been?
Okay, but it's been
Eight straight summers.
Eight straight summers.
What are we doing?
I want them to
Think
miss
about
the playoffs so it can materialize and you get something for your absence in the playoffs. Let's just be real. Getting swept by Golden State is not something that's going to solve this narrative of the playoffs and them being out of it for the last 5-6 years. One more year wouldn't hurt you in that respect. No free agent is sitting there saying, oh, dog, y'all got swept by Golden State. I'm coming. Here I come. And so that's not going to materialize. But if you miss it, you get into the lottery, things can happen for you. I want them to do that. The whole thing with the Lakers right now is it's amazing that we're now trying to put a narrative out there that LeBron came back too early or he's not right. You can't pressure LeBron James to come back early. He 5 weeks for his groin injury. If you were pressuring him, why wouldn't he come back earlier? 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You're saying now in his 5th week because things are not going right, we got to find a cop-out and excuse. I'm not buying it. Miss the playoffs, get something for it, and retool.
What are you getting for it?
Well, hold on, Kuti. I know he's married. Are you married? I can't remember.
I'm not.
No, he's not married. Okay, but so again, I don't. What do y'all think? Y'all think being thirsty is the way to chase? Thirst is the way to chase? I mean, y'all want the Lakers to look real thirsty, and because that's what they'll be, desperate and thirsty if they miss the playoffs this year.
Right.
That's how they're going to go off into the offseason chasing Anthony Davis.
I don't think so.
So going to the club and striking out by Golden State, swept 0-4.
You look
how
less
you look?
thirsty.
Oh, Eric Gurgle be like, girl, he got hard.
Jace, why you call that thirsty? When
what's
LeBron
that
James
thirsty?
missed 18 games.
No, listen, because one, Luke Walton,
Okay.
that he's going to get fired if they
Okay,
miss the playoffs. And Magic Johnson, all the pressure is
So
going
Luke
to
is the scapegoat. Go ahead.
Yeah, all the pressure is going to go to Magic Johnson and Pelinka, and they will be thirsty in their pursuit. They'll be desperate and thirsty in their pursuit. I don't think missing the playoffs is the right move.
Why? It's just a narrative. It's just we haven't made the playoffs since 2013,
Luke's
2014.
getting fired. That's not a narrative. That's going to be a fact.
And if
they
Luke
miss
gets
the
in
playoffs.
Golden State and goes 0-4 or gentleman sweep 1-4, we sitting there saying, keep Luke. So Luke is gone either way. They don't like Luke. They didn't hire Luke. Luke, you got to
They
go.
can get the 7th seed and get Denver.
Okay.
They can
You
beat
then get to
Denver.
the second round. Oh, championship building there.
Right, you can get to the second round. You can beat Denver, get to the second round, and might get a position where you can get to the conference finals.
If you have LeBron James, you can do anything.
You can do anything with
Anything's
this.
possible
He's a
with
different
LeBron
man after
James.
the All-Star break, and he's one of a few people in the NBA that can turn a switch when it comes to playoff time.
How many more games do they have?
I'm just
25.
But
25.
I'm
25 games, right?
I mean, y'all so concerned about how tired poor Bronny is. How come Bronny played 27
No, Bronny plays for
minutes?
Crossroads.
How come he played 27
Bronny plays for Crossroads.
Y'all talk about LeBron like he's Bronny, so I'm just saying, 27 minutes in the All-Star game. How come he wasn't hibernating this weekend in Charlotte?
That's
Because
part of
that's
getting
what
in
fans
shape.
get-
That's part of getting in shape and getting
That's
back
one,
to
and two is fans coming to see you.
you believe in
They
that
come to
as
see
well.
him.
Fans come to see.
I would agree.
So-
That's why I'm saying he don't need the playoffs off. We like to see him in the playoffs too.
Yeah, but it's not all. Listen. They
Bronny's gonna be
25
okay if they
games.
make the playoffs.
25 games left. I'm liking them in the playoffs.
Back to the All-Star game where LeBron may have captained the winning team, but he wasn't the game's most valuable player. That honor went to Kevin Durant, who took home the award for the second time which actually had some in the media gushing about the accomplishment helping KD pad his already Hall of Fame resume. All right, does an MVP in the All-Star game, does it enhance your legacy?
No.
No.
No. We already knew he was one of the baddest men on the planet. He's he's in a conversation of being the best in the world. Like, we already know this. If you get an All-Star MVP, it's like, oh, you're one step closer. No, he already has one. And the All-Star game is about who really wants to play on this weekend, who really wants to take this seriously, and who's in the right mindset. Some guys are in kind of like rest mindset. Some guys are not.
I mean, what are you shocked about?
Go ahead. I don't want.
Oh, yeah, we want to hear you.
I'm shocked.
That suit, you got to say something with that suit on.
Hey, he
Let's hear
waiting
it.
for me. You like that wine?
Yeah,
You like that
he
wine?
coming.
He waiting for me. Listen, that wine. Listen, I love KD.
Oh.
KD is amazing.
Here.
But Damian Lillard, Klay Thompson, and Ben Simmons is the one who brought them back. He was scoring before, in the first half, he was scoring. It didn't mean nothing. So this whole legacy, because you got MVP in the All-Star game, it's an All-Star game.
Okay, does it help your legacy or does it hurt your
How's that-
legacy?
no.
You got to pick one.
Listen,
because in life, we know nothing stays the same.
it's
When you talk
neutral.
about
Does it help it or hurt it?
That's
it certainly
neutral.
doesn't hurt it, does it?
It
No.
don't
It doesn't
hurt it and it don't help it.
Okay.
Because you got All-Star and because
He's
you got
done
MVP
it.
in the All-Star game.
Look, I'm going to give you a full screen, first of all, and give you the names of people that he just put himself in the same world as, and you tell me if this is going to hurt him, as you say, or it doesn't matter. Kevin Durant, 2 final MVPs and 1 regular season MVP. Oh, LeBron, Kobe, Shaq, Michael Jordan, Magic. Heard of all of them. Interesting. Okay, so you're sitting there saying, oh, well, it won't help you. I think it does, because you got to take the proper value of what this is. This is him playing amongst the game's best and once again shining the brightest. And you know what it sparked?
He didn't shine the brightest.
Tell me this. He won the MVP. Tell me this. Did this happen
you
at my
serious?
sports bar? Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
At my sports bar, when he won the MVP, someone very smart, astute about basketball, got up there and said, are we done with saying that LeBron's the best player in basketball? And there was a collective exhale. Thank you. KD's the best basketball player in the world right now. Are we going to say that? What's your answer
I
to that?
don't care what them people said at your bar.
They obviously were drunk.
They were drunk.
They are seriously
Obviously.
too much. Y'all pour heavy there. That's probably happening right
Big
now.
bills, big bills.
Kevin Durant, the last time I checked, basketball is what? A team sport.
Yeah.
Okay,
He won
so I'm
the
going to ask all three of you this. If you have LeBron James or Kevin Durant, you start in the team. Who are you picking to win?
LeBron James, it's not even a question.
There you go.
Listen, so you're a lot tougher when you got security with you, right?
There you go.
And he got a lot of security with
him.
him.
A lot of it.
He got a lot of security. He got
got a
2
lot
of
of
the baddest
Debos.
shooters in the land.
Isn't that
with him.
love for him? Because he's got the 2-time MVP.
Listen, man, y'all-
unanimously.
it makes it
Y'all-
easier.
And he's clearly better.
No,
than
it makes
Y'all-
it easier.
y'all
Stop.
wasn't- y'all
It does.
wasn't-
It does.
They won 73 games before
Face
him.
it.
They won a championship before him. If you put
Not
you
the
give
same year.
you
Not
give
the same
swap them
you
two.
give LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson.
Well, let me say this.
Put KD
Let me-
on the
let-
Lakers
let me-
right now.
let me
Get us back
say
on
this.
topic.
Put KD on the Lakers right now.
And what happened?
I want.
Are we serious?
You know what'll happen?
What?
He will diminish Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond
Shooters?
Who will diminish him?
Green, LeBron
Pace of
James.
play back.
Oh,
And again,
man.
LeBron James is better than Kevin Durant, but there are some complications that go along with playing with. There's a reason why all that talent.
Did you see LeBron James in the Olympics?
Oh,
Did you
what
see
year?
LeBron James in All-Star
The
games?
Olympics
talking,
is
man.
damn near like the All-Star
have you ever
game.
No,
seen
it's
him?
not. No,
Have you ever
like
seen
no
him?
All-Star game.
Carmelo
LeBron
is in the
James-
Olympic Hall of Fame.
Man, LeBron James.
Carmelo's in the Olympic
And he was leading.
looks
He was leading
great
all of
in the
them. And
Olympics.
Carmelo.
When is the last time
He's
you
a
seen
scorer.
him?
Buckets in the Olympics playing with all that talent. A bucket.
Now,
I can
you
get a
hear what you
bucket.
just said?
Yeah.
You can get buckets playing with all that talent.
Yeah.
Oh, don't do that.
Kevin Durant,
do that.
it's easier for him to score when he has all them
Yeah, I
shooters.
agree with you there.
LeBron James,
I
you
agree
put
with
him with Golden State, and we'll see what we're talking about now. 82 and
You know
0.
what we'll be talking about?
What we talking about?
Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. I'm getting the hell out
No,
of
he
here.
won't. They love LeBron. They would love LeBron.
Tino Mobley back with us. Time for my favorite segment, Twitter off. Our social media manager, Darnell Smith, is here. Warren Central's finest.
Sir, yes, sir.
Darnell, what's popping?
Yeah, man, we're going to start off with Tim Tebow.
Tebow!
Twitter's been going crazy over his inspirational speech about not letting the critics get to you. Take a listen.
I try to encourage young people all the time to not let the world or other people, outside sources define you, because you're always going to have critics and naysayers and people that are going to tell you that you won't, that you can't, that you shouldn't. You're going to live with a lot more regret than you would have if you tried and you failed. And I'm very passionate about that. And I think the reason that a lot of people don't go after things is because how much you will be criticized. And what if I fall flat on my face? And so fear and doubt and all these things creep in. And I just don't believe that's the healthiest way to live.
What do y'all think of Tebow's advice here?
I think it's awesome advice. I think it speaks why, out of nowhere, the guy has a chance to be a Major League Baseball player. He got ridiculed for that decision. He got ridiculed for his football career. But, you know, Tim Tebow is inspired by a higher power and a life force that protects him from all of his critics, and I think it's great advice.
Oh, tremendous advice. The proper mindset. You got to count those with you, not those against you in anything, any endeavor, any climb in this world. And he's just basically saying, I love myself, man, and that's okay. I think a lot of times you get discouraged from saying that. No, there are a lot of people in my life who are cheerleading me and supporting me, but nobody has bigger pom-poms than me for myself. Right. Trust me, and I wish everyone had the same thing.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, I love his speech, and that's usually what I would say to my teenagers and even my youngest son. He just believes in himself, and you have to believe in yourself. All of us, we have to believe in ourselves, and that's why we're here, and we've accomplished so much. And being on earth for this short period of time, actually. And for Tim Tebow, from football to baseball, he's getting knocked around and he still believes.
Yeah, and there are few people in this world that walk into a room and the energy changes.
Yeah.
You know, Michael Jackson, that happened for me. Right. Muhammad Ali, happened with me.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, people, he ain't on their levels, baby. Tim Tebow walking in the room, I'm telling you, y'all, you feel it. You be like, what just walked
Very
through?
positive.
Great
Very
attitude
positive.
and energy. I love that dude.
Sidney Poitier.
Okay.
I love that one.
All right, guys, moving on to the hardwood, where rappers and celebrities flocked to Charlotte for this weekend's NBA All-Star Game. One of the NFL's loudest talkers, Jazz corner Jalen Ramsey, made it clear he was a big fan of the festivities, tweeting, quote, "The NBA culture is dope." So, Whitlock, what is so dope about the NBA culture?
Like a pound or a cake.
Listen, I get it. If I'm Jalen Ramsey, because I watched the NBA All-Star Weekend, it's like J. Cole at halftime or Maroon 5. What's gonna touch Jalen Ramsey or me? Because he did that Middle Child song at the All-Star. I was like, damn, he killed it.
Killed it.
So that's an easy one. But I don't think some people will take it as him saying that their culture is better than football culture. I hope that's not what he's saying, because I disagree with that.
Look, for me, NBA has always been better than NFL. Yeah. NBA players are cool. Look, when I was in high school, I was looking at these empty backpack dudes walking around 6'7", getting all the love, wearing tank tops, no helmets. You hit me, free throws.
You went to the wrong school, dog.
Yeah.
Listen, you either want to be
I went to Westchester, which is the biggest basketball school out there.
You went to Warren Central.
No.
Football powerhouse, man.
You either want to be a rapper or a basketball player.
Say it.
That's what you want to be.
Thank you.
A rapper or a basketball player. And the NBA is so much more conscious than the NFL. Listen. To the point that it was in Charlotte. It was in Charlotte, North Carolina, and guess who they had as their front runner?
J. Cole.
J. Cole, because he's from North Carolina. You in Atlanta. Who was performing?
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you forgot it wasn't in Charlotte a few years ago for a reason.
No,
Donald Sterling was owning the Clippers all those years. The NBA just cleaned that all up and you led the charge, didn't you?
Yeah.
Good for J. Cole. I love J. Cole and the NBA.
Now, one NBA player.
It's dope.
Hey, support Cap and Neil. I dare you, NBA player. Oh, you can't. Come on, man. Chill out.
All right, Don, that was
Chill out.
Y'all smell that?
I smell it.
We got some more smoke in the building. Hey, one of the hottest rappers in the game right now, Meek Mill, performed before the All-Star game, and our guy, Michael Rapaport, clearly wasn't pleased. He took multiple shots at Meek over Twitter, saying he rapped off beat, called him a trash rapper, and even said he got dragged by Drake. Damn. Well, Meek decided to clap back with a couple tweets of his own, questioning Rapaport for speaking on the culture, and even posted a selfie that Rapaport took with him the first time they met. Marcellus, what level of smoke is this?
Woo, this was a tough one, y'all. Oh, man, they went back and forth, made some great points. Okay, first, it's not a wet match because he ain't just put out there and tweet, I don't like Meek Mill. I get it. Meek Mill is a great rapper, but he could go to Caton school here and there, stay on the beat, ride with it a little bit, but I love Meek Mill, so I hear it. He ain't go bonfire because I ain't hearing no Nicki Minaj mentioned in there. That would have set it off a little bit more, but he ain't go there. He ain't even go grease fire. He ain't stop there because he Drake came up, and you know when you bring up Drake's name, that's still gonna be touchy with Meek. He went scorched earth. Because he thought he went in on Meek and was like, done, let me sit back and count my retweets. And Meek hit him with the lean-in selfie. And nothing is worse than catching somebody in their mind and their feelings and in their Twitter thug.
True fan.
Not just a selfie, the lean-in selfie. That means you bother me, bro. Hurry the hell up. He got him. Scorched earth. Meek Mill wins. Meek Mill wins. We all been there before.
Shout out to North Philly.
Yeah,
That's
you
what's
from
up, Meek.
Philadelphia, man.
Listen,
Whose side you on here?
I'm on Meek's side. I got to go back home.
Is
So
Meek,
I'm on Meek's side. I got to go back home.
is Meek rap on beat?
Hell no.
I said I'm on Meek's side. I got to go back home.
It ain't about that.
Leave Meek alone, man.
I love Meek.
Look, I'm not even going to touch this. I'm not qualified.
You ain't qualified?
You just talked about J. Cole and you
Right.
wrote a song. You
Listen,
quiet.
Michael Rapaport messes with everybody.
I'm not a Meek Mill guy. I haven't listened to a lot of Meek Mill.
Okay, the one thing I didn't like, and this is taking it a little too serious, I don't like when our people say you can't talk about us. Because there's a lot of white culture things that I talk about and criticize. Because I used to go at the Dukes of Hazzard. You know what I mean? We can't talk about the Dukes of Hazzard no more. Like, I don't want to draw that divide. Like, you can't talk about us, we can't talk about y'all. Don't do that.
All right, now it's time for Darnell's question of the day. Darnell, take it away.
It's Darnell. My question of the day. My question of the day. 285 pounds.
Oh, yeah. You like that, don't you?
That's on beat. That's on beat.
I was about to start dancing. I was.
I need to put a bar on there, don't I?
Yeah,
at the
in
end
the
of-
chair, but I got to sit still so the camera can see me. I can't.
All right, guys. So watching D Wade and Dirk Nowitzki play in their final All-Star game, it started making me think about legacy. And we both know they both had amazing careers. But who would you pick between D Wade and Dirk Nowitzki as far as the better career?
It's not even close to me.
It's not close.
Let's go.
Well, hold on. How is it not close? It's got to be close now. This is close.
No, I love Dirk, but Dwayne Wade, to me, it's like, come on.
How?
To me.
Why?
I'm saying to me.
No, but
there's Michael
why?
Jordan, there's Kobe Bryant, then there's Dwayne Wade. As far as two guards,
I
ever.
agree with that. Yeah.
Dirk Nowitzki's not even top
what
five
was it?
power forwards ever.
But again,
What about
those
stretch
are different positions. What about?
Right,
what-
you said who
what
had a
about-
better career.
Okay, but what,
So whoever better career is the third best shooting guard ever, opposed to not even top five power forward ever. He has 3 rings, you have 1.
What about stretch four? Are you going to give that like a different lane
Stretch
in positionless basketball where they're taking it now?
Listen,
I mean, he did revolutionize that position.
No,
like,
he did.
what?
one guy will be remembered
position.
for taking out the big 3 in Miami.
Yeah.
The greatest team allegedly of all. Not 1, not 2, not the team that was
Would you
supposed to
stop
win.
doing that?
Hey, they did it.
You like massaging that like that, don't
I'm
you?
just saying. But one guy took them out, and Dwayne Wade's greatest accomplishment.
Stop that now. One guy, Jason Kidd too, and Jason Terry. Jason Terry, Sean
Dwayne
Marion.
Wade had
Nowitzki
Shaq.
was going crazy
They
in
were-
that finals, though. He was playing out of his mind.
Dwayne Wade
Well,
had
so
the
how about
finals
this?
himself,
How about that
too.
Dwayne Wade finals in 06?
Thank you.
when he
Oh,
had-
sir, I
and he
can't.
averaged 36.
Thank
That's
you.
true.
He had
Against
Shaq with him,
against
but
Dirk
still.
Nowitzki.
Against table scraps.
Against Dirk Nowitzki. I don't care if he had dog food. He killed him.
Answer.
I think it's very close.
I think it's Dwayne Wade, though.
It's Dwayne Wade.
He doesn't get the same
You like Dwayne
respect.
Wade? Tell me you like Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade's probably my favorite NBA player
There we
that
go.
never played for the Pacers.
There you go.
He's one
I
of
like
the only
that.
NBA players I follow on Twitter.
That's what I like.
Huge Dwayne Wade fan.
Can you follow me,
However,
please?
I do follow you.
Okay,
It's
cool.
very close, but it's very close between him and Dirk Nowitzki.
Who won,
It's
though?
like
Dwayne Wade?
close.
It's a coin flip.
Dwayne averaged 36 in the finals against Dirk
Put some
Nowitzki.
respect on Dirk name.
Hold on,
Dirk
we
came
going
back. Dirk came back against D Wade.
So
and
who,
beat
tell me who
him.
you got since you want me?
I got
you want
D
me- you want me-
Wade, but you saying
Let me know.
like it's just a landslide.
No,
Like
it
it
ain't
ain't even
landslide,
close.
but I'm just saying Dwayne
Said
Wade.
it's not close.
Time to put on our thinking caps. Dante Jones and Tino Mobley are back. As you all know, I'm a journalist, and we've got our resident Ivy Leaguer here, Marcellus from Columbia University. So we're going to take a deeper look at some big issues in sports. Special cap for Marcellus. Bring it in, Darnell.
Where's Columbia ranked amongst the Ivy Leagues?
At the
What do you mean
bottom.
by that? Okay, I just
At the bottom.
How about
What
fourth
are they
in the
known
world
for?
of all
Below
schools?
Duke.
Top 5 in the world.
You know what I'm saying? Okay.
All right, let's move to the NBA. Where one of the biggest scandals in the recent sports history, the Tim Donaghy affair, is undergoing a major re-examination, with ESPN releasing an in-depth report that chronicles the saga from the beginning to the end. The report includes new revelations, like the fact that Donaghy's scheme began 3 years earlier than previously thought, and that his accomplices earned hundreds of millions of dollars in profits. Even still, once the Supreme Court struck down the law that banned sports betting last year, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver wasted no time aligning his league with the newly legalized gaming activities. Question here is, and I'm probably do more gambling than anybody here at the table, perhaps all combined. True. But I'm not sure if legalized gambling is a good thing, and I think that reading this story really helped me understand this could happen again in professional sports. Tim Donaghy is not some lone wolf, some outlier situation. It could happen again. There's too much money to be made.
I think we have to make a distinction first between the economics, which we know is great for the game, legalized gambling, and then the ethics. So let's talk about the ethics because there's really not an argument for the economics. The ethics are, as me being a participant of sport all throughout my career, whether it was gambling or drug use, steroids, et cetera, if you're that dude, you're gonna find a way to get that going. And it's a subculture. I never used steroids. Matter of fact, never approached by a professional athlete to use steroids. One time, some random dude at the gym, I was just off site, and some surfer dude who was yoked up was like, dude, I got some help for you. Only time in my entire life, in part, because I never went out there with the law of attraction. I never wanted it, so it never came my way. But I had teammates that did it, and we never had those conversations. I think the barriers of entry are going to be something that if you look at anyone who wants to be a part of the game but undermine its integrity, you're going to get exposed. Think of the technology right now that's going to be a part of the apps, a part of this entire ecosystem about gambling in sports. It's the same thing that happened with players and their playbooks when they stopped giving out paper playbooks and they gave out tablets. The players start thinking they were getting over. Oh, man. I ain't got to crumble up a few edges, and I don't have to just mark this page up and act like I read the whole playbook. But the ownership group was sitting back looking at minutes logged in, and then looking at how long were you on each page to get an understanding of your usage of that technology towards that playbook. It's going to happen with this. If you think you're going to use their technology against them and gamble on games, they will track you like that. And nothing is going to get suppressed and attacked more than undermining their game with gambling accusations. Ask the NFL with Spygate. Gambling, anything that undermines their integrity, anything that lets you know that you have a leverage over an opponent, NFL, NBA, they're attacking it. So if you're that guy, do it at your own risk. I don't think it's going to happen.
Technology makes it harder at this point in time. Yes, could it happen? Yes. Do I think the likelihood of happening? No, because technology has put us in a place where they can predict scenarios and see where things seem a little fishy at before. When Tim was doing this, it wasn't available to us. So can they have barriers to prevent this? Yes, they have more barriers than before, but you're always going to have the people that want to evade the system, and there's so much money out there that you're going to have those, just like you said, in steroid use. Like steroids and human growth hormone are never going to go away. The small percentage use them. Some people try to get away, but then we have more barriers coming every year, and I think the NBA has done a great job in trying to prevent it, but you may have that one outlier that may try to get away with something in a dire situation.
Let me switch did you ever feel like you played in a game that was being influenced by the referees?
Fact.
You did?
I did. And maybe that was my own NBA, and I think that was my own emotion, right? But I agree with you because you got to think about it now, just in an economical standpoint, right? Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies coming in. There's people that are so much smarter that literally can still steal those things. So I'm just saying that to say, I don't care if it is legalized gambling now. Human beings will figure out a way to infiltrate that as well. I don't care how high the technology is. I don't care what that is. Human beings can break codes sooner or later.
And another human being will catch them because none of us is as smart as
They don't
all
catch
of us.
every-
You got to equate
everybody.
it to
That's
the
the thing.
situation going on with the Empire actor. Like people still trying to get away with things, but you forget that we have so much technology around us, and you keep trying to get away, but sometimes it catches you because you don't know things are there.
Okay, but here would be my concern if I'm a the NBA or even the NFL. There's such a disparity in money being made by NBA players. True story. Guys making $30, $40 million, guys making $1 million or $2 million in the NBA. And a lot of the young guys in particular, but even the old guys, when you're in that NBA locker room and there's only 15 of y'all, the guy making $2 million wants to live the exact same life as the guy making $40 million, and all of his friends and family have that, oh, you in the NBA, you're filthy rich.
Yeah.
I just think when you legalize gambling and make it more pervasive and more part of the conversation, the guy at the end of the NFL and NBA pay scale is the guy that I'd be more worried about him than Tim Donaghy.
Well, it has to be an NBA-focused conversation if we even want to exaggerate that, because you don't have that type of influence in NFL at the low end of the pay scale. Very few guys are going to have
Special teams.
Special teams.
Listen, you don't even have that in NBA.
In NBA is difficult.
There's only 8 guys that's playing, 9 guys that's playing, and that 9th guy's making a lot of money.
So it's like tough to map it onto actual
It's not
individuals.
the players.
What's a lot of money?
The 9th guys might make $5 million.
$6 million a year.
$6 million a year.
Okay.
Don't think that's a lot?
What's
Huh?
not when you're in a locker room
I get
with
what you're
guys
saying.
making 40, that $6 million feels like.
But to you, $6 million. If I'm making $6 million, Scottie Pippen my first year, I saw my check, and then I saw Scottie Pippen's check. That was for 2 weeks.
Yes. The whole year in a couple of weeks.
Man, I'm so mad at this. But guess what? I was the rookie. I was like one of the last guys. To me, I'm just happy I'm on this team. Blessed. I'm the 8th guy, 9th guy.
Again,
no, I'm not
Casino,
looking
you're
at 40.
sitting there with the talent that thinking one day I'm going to get that.
Right.
There's some guys in there that they're never going to get that.
Well, no, according to you, but they're on the end of the bench thinking that they have the opportunity to get there, and they're training to hit that
Yeah,
mark.
right.
But you're talking about the guy at the very end of the bench who's making the pennies
He don't
in the
affect
situation,
anything.
and he may not have that ability to affect it because even if they clear the bench out, like what you're thinking, like
not
it may not
affecting
end up. He may
might
have
not
one
even play.
opportunity a year or 2 opportunities a year, and that's too much pressure on him.
Can I just say this real quick? To your point, and I've been there, we all been there. LeBron makes $36 million a year. So he gets $3 million a month.
Yeah.
And then Isaac Bonga, I remember his name.
Yeah.
He makes $1 million the entire year.
Yeah.
LeBron is getting that thing in a week or two.
Coming up
Every 2 weeks.
Dante Jones and Gatito Mobley are back. Let's return to the NBA, where the quietest man in the league, Kawhi Leonard, is starting to make some noise. The Raptor star just dropped the first ad for his signature new balance shoe.
Why you laughing?
The commercial appeared to take some shots at other NBA stars, saying Kawhi doesn't need to chase fouls or post selfies or clap back at haters because his game speaks for itself. Question here, love it or like it? I absolutely love the new Kawhi commercial.
Okay, first thing, shameless plug. Shout out to Michael Pierce, who made a movie, Inside Game. I didn't mention it last one because we were talking about it. Tim Donaghy's story is amazing. Second of all, and I'm going to end it with this, Clip City, Chip City. This is what we do. Kawhi Leonard went out there and came out with the best ad in NBA, maybe history, outside of Be Like Mike. You know what's great about this? Everything. You know what the only part I have an issue with, I'm going to say it quick. Even the quiet can't stay quiet forever. It's amazing. He making an ad about marketing and all these other guys, how they selling themselves. And then even he had to go out there and do it himself. So you know what? That's the only issue I got with it, but I love the ad. And I'll see you in LA next year, bro.
Where did Clip City, Chip City come from?
Because that's Kawhi. You know that's our free agent.
Okay, never mind.
Our.
loved it.
All right, never mind.
You loved it.
Because it spoke to his personality
Exactly.
or lack thereof
Yeah.
in some people's thought process that he really does not have a personality whatsoever. And it showed that he does, but he's just not like the typical NBA player these days. And he's your ideal basketball player in your mindset because a guy who just focuses on basketball and plays it nonstop. I thought you would have loved this.
I did love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, it's his personality, basically, right? That's his personality.
Yeah.
I mean,
He does
It's
take
simple.
a shot at LeBron, in
Everybody.
my opinion. Everybody gets some.
but let's get this straight. He's not the one who was the creative director.
Facts. You think
Somebody else.
His name's on it, man.
His name is on it, but he
can't
said,
duck from
okay,
that.
He said, okay, oh, yeah, I like that. Okay, that's what he did. It wasn't like he's sitting behind and creating that whole concept
He
that they
had
put
to
on.
sign off on, man, we're going to take
No,
shots
no,
at everybody.
no.
Oh,
no.
if you execute,
You give me the
do
$5
sign
million,
off.
and I show up for the commercial.
Oh, don't do
and
that.
This is what I-
they did a
listen.
good job of
Selling him.
speaking to his personality. Yes, they created that.
They
but
sold
he
that to
showed
him.
up and they told him what to do, put the big finger up, say, shh,
They created
get out of here.
They created in his voice. It's just like a book or any movie. They're doing it in your voice. And yes, your actual performance is signing off on what they created. Let's not separate.
All right, coming up,
Shots.
Uncle Jimmy's here to help us talk about our approval rating for quarterback Colin Kaepernick.
What a brother know.
What is on that sweatshirt? Where did you get that sweatshirt? Was that approved?
Yes, it was approved.
By who?
Official
By,
gear.
by the Cap Nation, okay? By the Capricorn Nation, just so you know.
Represent.
All right, hold on. Let's get to our highlight
Don't get
from our
distracted.
discussion earlier about Colin Kaepernick. Take a peek. The NFL is just a TV show. Initially, it didn't know how to handle the kneeling controversy. It makes sense now to write Cap back into the NFL script. I'm going to be rooting for Cap. Cap is a far better and more interesting quarterback than social justice warrior.
If you had to ask me, and I had to answer, I would say the NFL won this one because it goes away. Dirty laundry is still dirty, but you just don't know how to get it exposed. And Kaepernick gets what he wants most, which is an opportunity to play. But the NFL won this case.
All right, Uncle Jimmy. I've been waiting for this take, to be honest with you, all day. When this news broke last week, I was like, I can't wait to hear Uncle Jimmy. Anyway, what's your take?
It's a beautiful day for African Americans all over America.
Man.
We've been kicking it all weekend, you know. We kicked it so hard, man, we was able to take a little heat off your boy Juicy Schmollade, man.
Wait a minute. A great day for who? And Juicy, what?
Great day for who?
Great day for who?
It's just a great day for African Americans all over, man. I'm part of a lost tribe of Capricorns. We use Twitter and social media and to go out and just, you know, to support causes that support our people and our symbols. And Colin Kaepernick is our leader. We call him the great silent symbol.
Why is this such a great day? Why today?
Because as African Americans, we have been praying for rain for many moons. And Roger Goodell finally found a way to make it rain on the silent symbol. See, in case you don't know, Merk Ellis, I done tried telling you time and time again, don't nothing move but the money, right? Hey, now Cap got them dollars and now the girls wanna holler. Now, you and my big nephew over there, now y'all kind of sounding like some haters, because now y'all trying to sit up and talk about how Cap got his money.
So you're good with Cap selling out. You
You darn straight. He was supposed to. Hey, man, look, Roger Goodell sitting up here making $40 million, and Cap can't wet his beak? Hey, bro, let me tell you something. I told you this before. This ain't nothing but reparations for Doug Williams, Warren Moon, and Tim Tebow.
Tebow? What Tebow got to do with this? What do you mean?
He ran like a black quarterback.
Oh,
Can we get back to Kaepernick? Do you think Kaepernick will ever play again?
No. Cap ain't never playing football again. Here, let me break this down for you. Peek me out, Merkulis.
I'm here.
You ever seen somebody go to a restaurant and you get some bad food, but then you call the chef to the table, so you cuss him out at the table, and then you hand him your food and say, now go back and fix this right.
Special sauce.
Hey, man, Cap ain't stupid. Cap done cussed out the NFL for 2 years. And now you think he gonna take the field again and put his safety at risk? You think the refs looked the other way during that New Orleans Saints playoff game? Boy, look how they looked the other way when Joey Bosa come around and try to knock Cap's head in the next week. Hey, bro, the only football Cap playing from here on out gonna be in Madden. You understand me?
I hear you. Cam Newton.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was almost worth the wait. All right,
Yeah.
That was real.
that was real.
That's from the heart.
Get him.
His name is Jussie Smollett, by the way, but anyway, we're not going to go there. All right, I want to give my approval rating for Colin Kaepernick. He stays the same at a 39, a dumpster fire. I drop him in job performance. You know, he had been the silent symbol has now been completely silenced. I'm going to keep him basically the same in all-time greatness and character, but I'm also going to elevate him in authenticity. I think he's back on message and who he really is.
Wow, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
For me, not much better, but a different category. So I got him sitting there, a scout team. But the settlement, I thought the NFL hated when games ended in a tie, and the settlement sounds like a tie. I don't know. Super Bowl still a all-time greatness, the martyr he is. All that said, I got NDA. You got to get a 0 for that. What's that?